Hello and welcome to the third race of the season here from Homestead-Miami and our final race of this little Florida stretch to open it all up. Here, Denny Hamlin is on the pole, starting lineup on your left there. Kevin Harvick on his outside. Harvick's had a hot start to the season so far, but can't put together finishes. We saw him win the 500 and then followed by the Daytona road course where he was coming on strong late and crashed. Denny Hamlin, not really showing himself yet, but Homestead, a great track for the 11 car. There's your stages there, 20, 25, and 36 laps. Fuel window is 65 laps. This race 81 in total. They will have to pit at some point. Tires, though, will dictate it, not fuel, I would imagine, with this place. Denny Hamlin brings him to the green. Kevin Harvick hanging on the outside there. The outside could be the dominant groove as the run goes on, but Hamlin should clear himself easily here on lap 1. Kyle Larson, his best qualifying effort of the season, starting third. He's already looking for second on Kevin Harvick. Larson will likely be a threat to win this race. He's so good at this racetrack, and in Hendrick equipment, it's just, I feel like it's a matter of time before we see him find his way to the lead. Kevin Harvick would be the one looking for the lead early, though, taking over that spot from Denny Hamlin with a pretty dominant move, and he pulls 3 car lengths in one corner. Kevin Harvick not playing around early. And there's Kyle Larson there, new at Hendrick Motorsports and having a solid run to start. Austin Dillon behind him also having a good run there in 4th, but you know, he's going to get up by the wall and be aggressive, and you can expect him to try and find his way to the front. Denny Hamlin riding in 2nd here, and you can already see everyone starting to hunt that high groove. The 11 in the middle, the 5. No shock, the highest car on the racetrack right there was Kyle Larson. I would imagine that theme will remain true for the rest of the race. Eric Almirola would eventually fight his way up to 3rd. A good run for that 10 car. He's a guy who had a pretty solid season last year, but never won a race. Put together a lot of top 5s, a lot of top 10s, and contended for wins, but could not ever finish the deal. So obviously that speed is still there. He's running 3rd right now and passing for 2nd. Martin Truex Jr. is going to close up on this battle, winning the Daytona road course in dominant fashion last week. He's led the most laps in the last 2 races. The 19 will be a force to be reckoned with today as well. We'll just have to see how it goes for him if he can get to the front. Kevin Harvick would have no trouble pulling out a big lead early, already a half a second on Eric Almirola and increasing it more and more each lap. Then Kevin Harvick into the wall. Looks like a right front tire on the 5 car right into the back of the 4. That's going to spark Joey Logano into the wall as well. Looked like a right front tire on Kevin Harvick. Eric Almirola will inherit the lead from his teammate. But we'll go to the replay and see what happened to the 4 car coming out of turn 2. Just turns dead right. Had to be a failure of some sort, and Kyle Larson nowhere to go. Saw Joey Logano get into the wall. Alex Bowman with big damage from the stack up. Harvick just nothing he could have done different, and Larson the same thing. Logano hard into the wall, and Blaney takes some damage to the rear there as well. Blaney just cannot buy a break. Wasn't running well in the first place either. Riding along with Alex Bowman here in 13th. You can see the wreck start in front of him. He gets to the bottom, gets woed up, and then right into the back of him. I would imagine that was Ryan Blaney. That did a lot of damage to the rear of the car, and then Bowman goes in the corner and imagine loses a tire or something. Loses control through the grass, but manages to save it. That'll bring everyone down pit road for tires, except for 3 cars, back markers. Brennan Poole would inherit the lead after this, but Eric Almirola wins the race off pit road. That is the race for 4th, though, because Brennan Poole, BJ McLeod, and Joey Gase are still on the racetrack. I would imagine trying to save a set of tires, but either way, it's going to be interesting. There are probably too many laps left in the stage for them to win it, but it's an interesting thought if Brennan Poole could win the stage. He does get a solid jump. He's already got 3 car lengths on BJ McLeod, and you know, through the full throttle section of this lap, it's going to be hard for Almirola to get a run, and he isn't getting a run right now. It won't be until they get to turn 3 and have to lift that the better cars will show themselves, and there it is, Almirola taking the high road, Martin Truex Jr. on the bottom. They're going to be 3, almost 4 wide down the front stretch here. Joey Gase stuck in the middle. Kyle Busch on the bottom looking for room. Both the Busch brothers down there. As they go into turn 1, it's still locked. There's not really any room to go. The back markers are 3 wide in the lead group. It looks like Daytona a few weeks ago. Once again, Kyle Busch, Kurt Busch, they're going to get enough of a run on the bottom here to try and charge down in the corner and take the lead. With a few laps to go on the stage, Kyle Busch goes to the lead. Kurt Busch to third. Bell to third. Busch to second. Almirola back there as well. Bubba Wallace also had a strong run through that traffic and gained a lot of spots. He's in the top 5. Kurt Busch showing younger brother Kyle how it's done here. He's going to go by on the inside. One car has a little bit of speed, a little bit more than the 18, but it'll be interesting to see when the guys that have been better, like Truex or Almirola, get up there if they can do anything with him. Speaking of Truex, 3 wide on the bottom, past the 23 and the 10. And then here, coming to the end of the stage, Kurt Busch has it in hand, but just can't get back to the throttle. And here comes Martin Truex from third all the way to first. If he can hold it, Busch will have a run on the high side. Martin Truex Jr. wins stage 1 by a nose with a strong move on the last lap. As I was saying, it'll be interesting to see what the better cars can do. Even Truex doesn't believe it. He gives the spot back to Kurt Busch. Like, no way, I did not do that. But seeing what Truex can do when he got there, and he wasted no time going by the 1. Coming down pit road, this would be a split decision. You can see Chase Elliott, Bubba Wallace, those guys staying out on those 3 or 4 lap tires. Honestly, old tires seems like the choice here because there's not many laps on them, but we'll see what happens with it. Chase Elliott brings them to the green. Bubba Wallace right behind him here. Elliott's going to get a nice jump, not have to worry about Wallace into turn 1, and as we've been seeing, not a lot of passing happens until we get to turn 3 because everyone's still flat on the throttle through 1 and 2. Nothing can really be done to gain or lose time unless you have to lift. Truex, you can see everything that's in front of him here when we ride on board. He's kind of stuck. A couple laps have passed by and he's not made a lot of progress, still running in 9th. Riding behind Chris Buescher in the 17, Tyler Reddick. Reddick having a good run. Nothing wrong with the top 10 for the 8 car, but holding up Martin Truex right now. Looking to the lead a few laps later, Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin racing for it. Hamlin would continue to just sort of ride on his bumper, not really making a move until he eventually would get a run, but here it is, going to the high side. And once you get the leverage on the high side, it's hard for the car on the bottom to hang, and that would be the story for Chase Elliott. Denny Hamlin, a great run down the front stretch off the top from turn 4. Into turn 1, Elliott not going to be able to do anything about it. They would race side by side for about a lap, but eventually Hamlin would win out. Bubba Wallace would also fight his way through to second, and how about Bubba Wallace? We saw him make some good moves on a restart to gain about 10 spots earlier, and he's holding that track position, so good run for him. And finally, Martin Truex Jr. decides that he's going to have to get aggressive, goes all the way down to the white line, makes it 3 wide, and he's going to pick off about 4 cars in one corner, move the 19 up to 3rd. Truex still showing that he has that speed, and now looking under Bubba Wallace here. Wallace gets to the throttle not quite as well as the 19, and Martin Truex Jr. goes to 2nd. So those new tires are proving valuable even after such few laps. Eventually Martin Truex Jr., no shock, he would go to the lead with about 7 laps to go in the stage. Fighting with Denny Hamlin here, but I think it is it's already known how this one will end with the 19 on newer tires, and he goes by Denny Hamlin, just gonna have to settle. But Chase Elliott, we saw him get passed earlier, but he's still hanging in there. He's actually closed the gap on the 19, and he's gonna turn to the bottom, and it's a power move. That's a very Logano-esque power move on the 19 from 2018, and just turns to the bottom and goes around him on old tires. Chase Elliott might be saying that he has the best car right now, trying to make a case for himself. And I think he's making it as he takes the lead. Truex gonna not be able to hold it. And we saw Alex Bowman, I mentioned he had a lot of damage on the rear of the car that you can sort of see how they've repaired it. But that car, he's driven all the way up to 5th from dead last because he pitted to repair damage. So Bowman might not be out of this yet, even with the torn up race car from Ryan Blaney piling into the back of it. So quite a run there for the 48. We'll see what he can do. His teammate, Chase Elliott, took the lead decisively, but now he can't hold it. Martin Truex Jr. gonna get a run and simply put, just go around the 9. Chase Elliott on the top has the leverage, the preferred line, but could not hold him back, and Truex would win the stage with that move, taking both stages. The second week in a row he swept the stages. We'll see if he can win the race for the second week in a row as well. 19 looking like he's setting himself up to lead the most laps again, so the very clear dominant car early in the season right now is Martin Truex Jr. Once again, everyone down pit road. Truex barely wins the race off of pit road over teammate Denny Hamlin. JGR cars 1, 2, 3, but it won't matter because the same 3 back markers have stayed out again on even older tires this time. So there's no guessing how this will go. We know they will get past. They're much slower. The question is just when they will get past. And even as slow as they are, they can still be full throttle through 1 and 2. So no moves will really happen until we get to 3 and they have to bail out of the throttle. Truex squeezed almost into the wall, inches between the 19 and the wall, and he manages to get through there. They are 4 wide down the front stretch. Denny Hamlin looking for the lead as the back marker's just trying to not crash at this point. A few guys getting shuffled back quite badly. We talked about Bowman. He gets shuffled way outside of the top 10 in this mess from running in the top 5. Chase Elliott would be the one with the run on the bottom now that we've gotten through traffic, but nothing he could do. Denny Hamlin hangs tough on the outside. The same thing we've been seeing. The outside just has so much more momentum. It's hard to make a pass on the bottom unless you have a better car. Denny Hamlin sat on the pole, so we obviously know this car has speed, and that's what he's been showing. But Elliott's going to get a run to the bottom with quite a push from Bubba Wallace. Bubba pushing his buddy Chase past his team owner. That can't be popular. I bet Denny Hamlin's wallet has to feel that at some point, but Chase Elliott's going to hang in there, and he's going to get the job done with help from Bubba Wallace. The 2311 car pushing Chase Elliott past his team owner. That's quite a story. Brad Keselowski there too. Haven't seen much of that 2 car yet. He had a great run going at the Daytona Road Course before Kevin Harvick, who has already crashed out today, spun in front of him. And Brad's going to try and make it 3 wide. You see him back there as the leaders race in front of Bubba Wallace here. Here comes that 2 car all the way on the bottom. With the run, he's actually got enough grip to make that stick. And talk about a power move. He drives all the way up alongside the 9. 19 going to push his teammate Denny Hamlin here. That's going to help the 11 with a run. The 2 car has no help down the straightaway. He lost about a half a car length. And when they get to the corner, it's Denny Hamlin seemingly pulling something on the high side there. Just a little bit more momentum, and that'll help him down the front stretch to retain the lead. But I think Brad showed his hand. That is a car capable of doing that is pretty impressive. But Martin Truex Jr. says, what you can do, I can do better. Truex all the way down to the bottom on the white line on entry, and he takes the lead. He does one better than Brad Keselowski. Keselowski went to second. Truex goes to first with the same move. Now settling into the lead with about 20 laps left. Truex would pull a pretty substantial lead as we head into lap traffic, and I think, at this point it just seems like a sure thing that Truex is going to find his way to win this race, because this car has been dominant. Led the most laps in the 500, got shuffled late, finished 11th. Led the most laps in the Daytona Road Course, won both stages, and managed to win that race, fending off a late attack from Chase Elliott. Eric Almirola would go by for second there in traffic. Almirola also had a good car, could challenge the 19. Logano, good at this racetrack, but not showed his hand yet today. We'll have to see what the 22 can do. Really be those 3 breaking away late, but Truex would make sure that the 10 and the 22 never got enough of a run to challenge him, keeping about 3 car lengths comfortably all the time. Similar to what we saw last spring here at Homestead, where eventual winner Denny Hamlin could keep the leaders, the other 2 leaders, about 2 car lengths back all the time, no matter what, with no challenge. Brad Keselowski fought his way by Joey Logano, and now looking past Eric Almirola, he would be the first to break that bubble. Turning all the way down to the bottom on Martin Truex Jr., Truex going to have the run off the top. But Keselowski showing he has a car that could be better than the 19. If the 19 wants 2 in a row, he's going to have to fight just like last week. Chase Elliott was better in the closing stages last week and couldn't get the job done. We'll see if Brad Keselowski can fare a little bit differently than that 9 car. Martin Truex Jr. on the top. He's chosen that he's going to let the 2 have the bottom anytime he wants it. He just wants to make sure his car is where it's fastest, and that's on the top. Truex would continue to do that, and Brad Keselowski eventually is going to get enough of a run to hang down the straightaway. It's not this time, but you know it's for certain, and Truex almost misses his mark there. Brad Keselowski better on entry, better through the center, gets to the throttle, and Brad is clear down the front stretch. In one corner, Truex makes a mistake on entry and just cannot get through there, and now Brad will be able to go into the corner and take the lead for good. Brad Keselowski gonna clear himself with not many laps left. It might be too late for Truex to mount a comeback. Riding on board with the 19, you can see he's gonna get a run down the straightaway, but there's nothing he can do. There's nowhere he can go because Brad simply is better through the corner, better on entry, and turns the center lower, faster, and back to the throttle better than the 19. There is nothing Martin Truex can do to get back to that 2 car. And as we come to get the white flag, it's Brad Keselowski with the decisive lead, about a half a second over his teammate Joey Logano. Still a little bit of lap traffic to deal with, but nothing major for the 2 car. Unless he makes a really big mistake, he's probably going to win this race. Brad Keselowski, a nice little comeback after a start to the season that saw 2 great cars, 2 good runs, and dealing with the 78 here, he's going to go around the outside. Allows Logano to close, but not enough. But yeah, a car that at the 500 won the pole and then got shuffled back and involved in a wreck. Road course, he was really good and got involved in Harvick's mess. You can see the first of our final 4 to win this year as Brad takes it at Homestead. He has only led 6 laps this year. He led the first lap of the Daytona 500 and the last 5 here, and despite how good of a car he's had the last 2 weeks, this is his first top 10 and he parks it in victory lane. We'll take a look at the points. Brad Keselowski, our newest addition to the locked-in crowd there among Truex, Keselowski, and Harvick. Elliott and Logano building a pretty serious points cushion already, so a good start to the season for them. And how about Austin Dillon down in 10th? Consistent early and doing a good job. Obviously, too early to tell, but still a good start. Daniel Suarez and Bubba Wallace are perhaps the most impressive on this page. 12th and 14th respectively for the 2 new teams in the garage as we get started on this season. And that will be it. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Make sure and share this video if you want some other people to see it. And that'll be it. Thanks for watching.